The streets of Barcelona pulse with life, music, sunlight, and that unmistakable Mediterranean rhythm. But here's the truth. If you just show up, you'll miss it. The Sagrada Família sells out every day. Park Güell, booked weeks in advance, and Casa Batlló, lines stretch around the block. Don't make the mistake millions of travelers do, watching the magic from the outside. In this video, we'll show you exactly what to see, when to go, and which tickets you need to book right now to experience Barcelona the way it's meant to be. Unforgettable, effortless, and completely yours. La Sagrada Família, the soul of Barcelona. There's no monument in Barcelona that captures the city's heart and imagination quite like La Sagrada Família. Rising high above the 𝐒𝐚𝐿 district, this towering masterpiece of stone and light is Antoni Gaudí's unfinished symphony, a dream in slow motion, still under construction more than 140 years after it began. The story starts in 1882, when a group of devout Catholics laid the first stone of what was meant to be a humble neo-Gothic church. A year later, a young architect named Antoni Gaudí took over, and everything changed. He tore up the plans and reimagined the project as a living organism, a cathedral that seemed to grow straight out of nature. The result? Spiraling towers shaped like honeycombs, facades that tell biblical stories through stone, and columns that branch out like trees in a sacred forest. Gaudí spent over 40 years of his life on the Sagrada Família, the last 15 entirely devoted to it. When he died in 1926, only a fraction was complete. Yet his vision lives on through his detailed models and sketches, guiding the modern architects who continue the work today. When it's finally finished, expected around the 2030s, the basilica will feature 18 towers, 12 for the apostles, 4 for the evangelists, 1 for the Virgin Mary, and the tallest, reaching about 0.107 miles, 172.5 meters, symbolizing Jesus Christ. Step inside, and you'll understand why millions of visitors each year are left speechless. The stained glass windows bathe the interior in a kaleidoscope of color, blues, greens, and fiery reds shifting with the sun. Between 9 and 11 a.m., the light is at its most magical. If you want the space to yourself, arrive right when it opens or late in the afternoon when the tour buses have moved on. Tickets are best booked well in advance, as same-day entry is rarely available. You can choose a basic entry, a guided visit, or access to one of the towers for panoramic views over the city. The Nativity Tower looks out toward Old Barcelona with rich detail and color, while the Passion Tower faces the sea, a quieter, more contemplative view. To get there, take the L2, purple, or L5, blue, metro line to Sagrada Família station. The basilica's towers will greet you the moment you step outside. For the best photos, cross the street to Plaça de Gaudí Park, where the basilica reflects perfectly in the pond. And if you come back at night, you'll see it glowing softly under the Catalan sky, a moment that feels almost spiritual. Hidden tip: the audio guide is worth every penny. It reveals Gaudí's hidden symbolism, the geometry inspired by nature, the meaning behind every sculpture, and even the mathematical perfection of his designs. If you want to skip the long lines and get the most out of your visit, scan the QR codes on screen to reserve your Skip the Line tickets or audio guide tours through Get Your Guide or Viator.com, two trusted platforms offering official and verified tours of this world wonder. Park Güell, Gaudí's fairy-tale garden above Barcelona. Perched high on Carmel Hill, Park Güell feels like stepping into the imagination of Antoni Gaudí himself, a world where color, nature, and architecture blend into pure magic. It's one of the most enchanting places in Barcelona, and a must-see for anyone who wants to understand the soul of this city. Originally designed between 1900 and 1914 as a luxury housing development, commissioned by Gaudí's patron, Güell, the project was meant to feature 60 lavish plots overlooking the Mediterranean. But the idea never took off. Only 2 homes were built. Decades later, the area was transformed into a public park, and in 1926, the same year Gaudí passed away, Park Güell opened its gates to the people of Barcelona. Since 1984, it's been recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and for good reason. Every inch of the park is alive with symbolism and imagination. At the entrance, the famous mosaic salamander, El Drac, guards the stairway, its scales glistening in the sun. Follow the path upward and you'll reach the Plaça de la Natura, where the world's longest ceramic bench, more than 100 yards long, curls like a snake around the terrace. From here, you'll have a panoramic view over Barcelona, with the sea shimmering in the distance. Gaudí designed everything to flow with nature, not against it. The columns resemble tree trunks, the archways look like caves carved by water, and the pathways seem to grow out of the hillside itself. Even today, locals come here early in the morning to jog, meditate, or practice yoga as the first light spills across the city. To get there, take the L3 Metro, Green Line, to Lesseps or Valcarce, and prepare for a 15 to 20-minute uphill walk, or hop on bus 24 from Plaça Catalunya, which drops you near the main entrance. A much easier ride. A taxi from the city center costs about $11 to $13. Hidden tip. For those iconic shots, sit on the mosaic bench overlooking the city and sea at golden hour. The light turns the tiles into liquid color. And if you're curious about the deeper meaning behind Gaudí's designs, from the geometric symbolism to the spiritual alignment of the structures, an audio guide or guided tour makes a huge difference. It's essential to book in advance online. Daily capacity is limited, and tickets at the gate often sell out. To skip the long entrance lines and explore Gaudí's masterpiece stress-free, scan the QR codes on screen to reserve your skip-the-line tickets or audio guide tours via GetYourGuide or Viator.com, 2 trusted platforms offering official, verified tours of Park Güell. If you enjoyed this video so far, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the Traveler's Atlas for more city adventures, travel tips, and inspiration from around the world. The Gothic Quarter, where Barcelona's soul still echoes. Step into the barri Gothic, and you step back centuries. Between La Rambla and Via Laietana lies the beating heart of old Barcelona, a labyrinth of narrow alleyways, hidden courtyards, and stone arches whispering stories from the Roman Empire to the Middle Ages. Every corner feels alive with history. Street musicians play beneath ancient balconies, tapas bars glow beneath Gothic spires, and fragments of Roman walls peek through the modern city. This is where Barcelona began, built upon Barcino, a Roman settlement founded around 15 BC. Centuries later, this became the city's political and spiritual center, filled with palaces, churches, and cobblestone squares. By the 19th century, many of these buildings were restored, some authentically, others romantically reimagined, giving the district its timeless, cinematic charm. Today, the Gothic Quarter feels like a living museum, where real history and carefully rebuilt beauty blend seamlessly. The neighborhood's landmarks are unmissable. The Cathedral of the Holy Cross and St. Eulalia, a stunning example of Catalan Gothic architecture, with its spires reaching high above the rooftops. Plaça Sant Jaume, the political center where City Hall still stands. Plaça del Rei, a medieval courtyard once home to Catalan royalty. Plaça Real, lined with palm trees and elegant street lamps designed by a young Antoni Gaudí. And tucked behind the cathedral, you'll still see sections of the Roman wall, standing quietly after 2 millennia. Wander slowly. This is a place best explored on foot, unhurried. Around every turn, there's a story waiting. Beneath the Museu d'Història de Barcelona, Montjuïc, You can walk through ancient Roman ruins, wine cellars, baths, and streets preserved for nearly 2,000 years. Inside the cathedral's cloister, you'll find 13 white geese, one for each year of St. Eulalia's short but legendary life. And at Plaça Sant Felip Neri, if you look closely at the church walls, you'll see bullet holes, remnants of the Spanish Civil War. Come early morning, when sunlight filters softly through the alleys, or return at sunset when lanterns glow and the sound of a distant guitar fills the air. December is especially magical, with twinkling lights and Christmas markets decorating the squares. To get here, take the L3 Metro Green Line to Liceu or Drassanes, or simply walk 5 minutes from Plaça de Catalunya. A few quick tips. Skip the overpriced restaurants on La Rambla. Instead, slip into side streets like Carrer de la Mercè or Carrer del Regomir for authentic tapas. And though the Gothic quarter is much safer today, always stay alert for pickpockets, especially at night or near crowded squares. When exploring the Gothic quarter, it's easy to get lost in the beauty of the moment. But don't forget, pickpockets are part of daily life here. To keep your valuables safe, we highly recommend using this anti-theft backpack. It's the same one we use on all our city trips. You'll see it on screen now, and if you scan the QR code, you can find out more about its hidden zippers, cut-resistant fabric, and smart travel design. We've also added a link in the video description below so you can check it out before your next adventure. La Rambla and La Boqueria Market. The beating heart of Barcelona. Stretching from Plaça de Catalunya all the way to the port, La Rambla is Barcelona's most famous boulevard. A 0.75-mile promenade, lined with plane trees, flower stalls, and open-air cafes. It's a street that never sleeps, a stage where locals and travelers share the same rhythm. In the early morning, locals sip coffee at sidewalk cafes and read their newspapers. By midday, the avenue comes alive with artists, musicians, and human statues, the heartbeat of the city in motion. As night falls, the lights glow, the crowd thickens, and the air fills with laughter, music, and the occasional pickpocket. The word Rambla comes from the Arabic Ramla, meaning sandy riverbed, fitting, since this street was once a dry stream flowing through medieval Barcelona. In the 18th and 19th centuries, it became the city's social center, where people came to stroll, see, and be seen. Today, La Rambla is divided into 5 sections. Locals still call it Las Ramblas, each with its own charm. Along the way, you'll pass the Gran Teatre del Liceu, Barcelona's historic opera house, the elegant Palau de la Virreina, and the famous Joan Miró mosaic embedded in the pavement. A piece thousands walk over daily without realizing it. Walking the entire boulevard takes about 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how often you stop. Go early morning or late afternoon for a more relaxed experience. Midday and weekends are the busiest. The L3 Metro, Green Line, stops at Catalunya, Liceu, and Drassanes, or you can simply start from Plaça de Catalunya and stroll your way down to the sea breeze of Port Vell. But no visit to La Rambla is complete without stepping inside its beating culinary heart, La Boqueria Market. Behind the iron gates at number 91 hides a feast for the senses. More than 300 stalls overflowing with fresh fruit, jamon, seafood, cheeses, smoothies, and sizzling tapas. The air smells of citrus, coffee, and salt, and every color seems more vivid here. This market has been part of Barcelona's life since 1217, when farmers sold meat and produce outside the city walls. The iron roof and stained glass entrance were added in 1840, and today, it remains a gathering place for chefs, locals, and travelers alike. The market is open from Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8:30 p.m., and closed on Sundays. Entry is free, so you can wander in anytime, but the best hours to visit are early in the morning between 8 and 10, when the local atmosphere is most authentic. Try to avoid the late morning rush from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., when the aisles get crowded with tourists. Bring cash, as not all vendors accept cards. And above all, keep an eye on your belongings when walking along La Rambla. An anti-theft backpack or wearing your bag in front is highly recommended. Montjuïc and the Magic Fountain, where Barcelona meets the sky. Rising above the city's southern edge, Montjuïc Hill is where Barcelona stretches out before you, from the rooftops of the Gothic quarter to the endless shimmer of the Mediterranean Sea. It's not just a hill, it's a world of its own. In one day, you can wander through gardens, explore museums, visit a centuries-old castle, and still have time to end your evening with one of Europe's most dazzling light shows. The name Montjuïc means Jewish mountain, a nod to the medieval Jewish cemetery once located here. Later, in the 17th century, it became a military stronghold, the Castel de Montjuïc, a star-shaped fortress overlooking the harbor. From its ramparts, the view stretches for miles in every direction, and the sea breeze feels like freedom itself. Down the slope lies the majestic Museu Nacional d'Art de Catalunya, or MNAC, a palatial building that looks like it belongs in a royal capital. Inside, it holds centuries of Catalan art, from medieval frescoes to modernist masterpieces. In front of it, broad staircases cascade down toward the city, lined with fountains and sculptures. But Montjuïc isn't only about grand architecture. Between the monuments lie peaceful gardens and winding paths. The Jardins de 𝐒𝐚𝐿 𝐲𝐨𝐿 is one of Europe's most unique cactus gardens, home to over 800 species of cacti and succulents, each sculpted by the sea breeze. And if you'd rather glide than walk, take the Teleferic de Montjuïc, the hill's cable car, a 0.47-mile ride that floats you above pine trees and terracotta rooftops, with views stretching all the way to the distant mountains. To get there, take the L1 or L3 metro to España, then walk uphill or catch the funicular and cable car to the summit. For the best experience, go early morning when the light is soft, or late afternoon to catch the sunset and stay for the grand finale, the Magic Fountain. As daylight fades, the Font Magica de Montjuïc awakens. Water, color, and music fuse into one hypnotic performance. Fountains dancing in rhythm to everything from classical scores to Freddie Mercury's Barcelona. It's pure theater, free for all, and it's been captivating visitors since 1929. Each show lasts about 20 minutes, and the schedule changes with the seasons. Before the show, grab a drink on the rooftop of Las Arenas, a former bullring turned shopping center with one of the best panoramic terraces in Barcelona. Or simply sit on the steps, watch the lights begin to glow, and feel the heartbeat of the city beneath you. Montjuïc and the Magic Fountain are where Barcelona shows its soul. Artistic, proud, and endlessly alive. Before you go, make sure you're ready to experience Barcelona the right way. Scan the QR code and download our free Barcelona travel guide, filled with insider tips, hidden corners, and everything you need to make your journey truly unforgettable. La Barceloneta and the beaches of Barcelona, where the city meets the sea. Few places capture the spirit of Barcelona like La Barceloneta, the city's sun-soaked shoreline, where sand, sea, and urban energy collide. Just south of the Old Town, this lively neighborhood began as a humble fishing village, and today it's the beating heart of coastal life, a blend of locals hanging laundry on balconies, skaters gliding past beach bars, and the scent of salt and grilled seafood drifting through the air. Stroll along the Passeig Marítim, the palm-lined promenade stretching nearly 3 miles from Port Vell to the Olympic Marina. By day, the beaches buzz with volleyball games, cyclists, and families enjoying the Mediterranean sun. By night, the same stretch transforms into a golden ribbon of lights, beach bars glowing, music floating on the breeze, and the hum of people savoring summer long after sunset. La Barceloneta was built in the 18th century for fishermen and sailors displaced from the Ribera district, its narrow grid of streets still echoing that past. The neighborhood remained working class for centuries. Simple homes, tiny balconies, and community life spilling into the streets. Then came the 1992 Olympic Games, which changed everything. New beaches were created, the promenade rebuilt, and the Port Olympic added as a modern harbor. The golden fish sculpture near the Hotel Arts, designed by architect Frank Gehry, became an instant icon of the new Barcelona. Today, La Barceloneta has one of the highest concentrations of tapas bars in the city. Between the sound of seagulls and chatter, you'll find tiny seafood taverns serving plates of grilled squid, anchovies, and paella that rival the city's finest restaurants. The beaches here each have their own character. Somorrostro Beach, near the W Hotel, draws a younger, trendier crowd with its beach clubs and 𝐒𝐚𝐫𝐤. Barceloneta Beach, right in the center, is the most popular, a hub of volleyball, sunbathers, and street performers. Sant Miquel and Sant Sebastià beaches are quieter, with more locals and fishermen. Further north, Nova Icaria and Boqueria offer wider sand and calmer waters, perfect for families or a relaxed swim. To get here, take the L4, Yellow Line, to Barceloneta Station and walk 10 minutes, or rent a bike and follow the smooth coastal path, one of the most scenic rides in the city. Buses 45, 59, and D20 also stop nearby. If you're up for exploring, La Barceloneta connects easily to nearby highlights: the Port Vell Marina, the glass-sailed W Hotel, the Barcelona Aquarium, and the Museu d'Història de Catalunya, where the rooftop terrace offers one of the best harbor views in town. And for one final view to remember, walk out to the pier near the W Hotel at sunset. As the skyline lights up behind you and the sea glows ahead, it's pure Mediterranean magic, the perfect meeting point of city and sea. Casa Batlló, the House of Dreams. If Gaudí's architecture could dream, that dream would be Casa Batlló. Standing proudly at number 43 on Passeig de Gràcia, this isn't just a building, it's a living, breathing work of art. From the moment you lay eyes on its shimmering facade, you realize you're looking at something extraordinary. Balconies shaped like masks, a roof that ripples like the scales of a dragon, and colors that seem to move with the light. Inside, that dream deepens. The staircase curls like the spine of a mythical creature, the walls flow like water, and sunlight pours down through a central light well lined with blue tiles that fade from dark to light as they descend. A clever trick by Gaudí to balance the light naturally on every floor. Every detail feels alive, crafted not just to be seen, but to be felt. Between 1904 and 1906, Antoni Gaudí transformed an existing townhouse into this masterpiece for the Batlló family. He was given complete creative freedom, and he used it. There are almost no straight lines in the entire structure. The facade, covered in trencadís, broken ceramic mosaic, glows in shades of sea blue and coral pink, while the rooftop evokes St. George's legendary battle with the dragon, the patron saint of Catalonia. Locals sometimes call it Casa dels Ossos, or House of Bones, because of the skeletal forms in its balconies and columns. Yet despite its surreal appearance, everything here has purpose. Even the doorknobs and vents, all hand-designed by Gaudí himself for beauty, comfort, and airflow. Since 2005, Casa Batlló has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and in 2021, it was named World's Best Monument at the World Travel Awards. But titles aside, nothing compares to the experience of stepping inside. It feels less like visiting a museum and more like walking through a dream sculpted in glass and light. To get there, take the L2, L3, or L4 metro to Passeig de Gràcia. From the middle promenade across the street, you'll get the perfect symmetrical photo of the facade. And don't miss the Smart Guide, the included augmented reality device that lets you see how the rooms looked when the Batlló family lived here. Casa Batlló isn't just something to see, it's something to feel, a masterpiece of imagination, nature, and light, where architecture becomes poetry and every corner tells a story. Because entry is limited and tickets often sell out days in advance, be sure to book ahead online to guarantee your spot. On screen, you'll see 2 QR codes. one for Get Your Guide, and one for 𝐼𝐴TOR, both trusted platforms offering official tickets and skip-the-line entry. Scan the QR code to secure your access to Casa Batlló, and you'll find direct links in the video description below as well. Casa Milà, the living stone. At the elegant upper end of Passeig de Gràcia, a great wave of stone rises from the street. Casa Milà, better known as La Pedrera, the stone quarry. Where Casa Batlló dazzles with color and fantasy, La Pedrera impresses with movement and strength. Its facade seems alive, rippling like windswept dunes, crowned by surreal chimneys that stand guard like watchful stone soldiers. Step inside, and the feeling deepens. Sunlight pours through vast courtyards, flowing freely between open rooms. Gaudí's ingenious design eliminated the need for load-bearing walls. Above, the rooftop feels like another universe, undulating forms, sculptural vents, and panoramic views of Barcelona's skyline that look like something from another world. Built between 1906 and 1912 for businessman Pere Milà and his wife Roser Segamon, this was once the most luxurious apartment building in the city. Locals found it strange, too wild, too modern, and mockingly nicknamed it La Pedrera. But Gaudí didn't mind. He had created something revolutionary, a building that was both structurally daring and spiritually alive. He designed Casa Milà with a hidden brilliance. The iron framework made every apartment unique. No two floors or walls are the same. The rooftop's helmeted chimneys are not just decoration, but part of a sophisticated ventilation and insulation system, and the rainwater collected from the roof was ingeniously reused, an early example of sustainable architecture. Over time, the city learned to love what it once misunderstood. Today, La Pedrera is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the purest expressions of Gaudí's genius, where art, architecture, and nature become one. Tickets start around $30 and should always be booked online in advance. Same-day tickets often sell out quickly. Expect to spend 1 to 1.5 hours exploring. To get there, take the L3 Metro, Green Line, to Diagonal Station. The building's flowing silhouette is impossible to miss at number 92, Passeig de Gràcia. Hidden tips. For the best photo, stand diagonally across the street at the corner of Passeig de Gràcia and Carrer de Provença. The included audio guide adds rich soundscapes and context that make the visit even more immersive. Afterward, enjoy a coffee at Café de la Pedrera on the ground floor. Few visitors know it's open to the public. Casa Milà isn't just architecture, it's motion captured in stone. Where Casa Batlló represents Gaudí's imagination, La Pedrera reveals his vision of life itself, nature, structure, and creativity in perfect balance. It's a living sculpture, always modern, always in motion. Because entry is limited and La Pedrera is often sold out, make sure to reserve your tickets online before you go. On screen, you'll see 2 QR codes, one for Get Your Guide and one for 𝐼𝐴TOR, both official and trusted platforms. Scan the QR code now to secure your access to Casa Milà, and you'll also find the direct ticket links in the description below. Camp Nou, the Cathedral of Football. Even if you're not a football fan, Camp Nou, home of FC Barcelona, is something you simply have to experience. More than a stadium, it's a monument to pride, passion, and identity. Locals call it the Temple of Football. But for Catalans, it's something deeper, a living symbol of who they are. The name Camp Nou means new field in Catalan, though it has long since become one of Europe's most iconic sporting arenas. When you step inside, the scale takes your breath away. Steep stands rising toward the sky, the vast pitch glowing in sunlight, and the distant echo of fans chanting "Mais qu'un club." More than a club. Those words define Barça, not just a team, but a movement. The stadium opened on September 24, 1957, designed by Francesc Mitjans, Josep Soteras, and Lorenzo Garcia. It replaced the smaller Les Corts Stadium as FC Barcelona's popularity soared in the post-war years. Over the decades, Camp Nou expanded to nearly 100,000 seats, making it the largest football stadium in Europe and a true pilgrimage site for fans around the world. Every seat holds a piece of history. This is where Lionel Messi scored both his first and last goals for Barcelona, where El Clásico roars like thunder, and where millions have cheered, cried, and celebrated together. Beneath the stands, there's even a small chapel dedicated to the Virgin of Montserrat, where players pause for a quiet prayer before walking onto the field. A visit to Camp Nou is not just a tour, it's a journey through the soul of the city. From the museum filled with trophies and memorabilia, to the players' tunnel leading to the pitch, every step connects you to the legends who made football history here. Whether you come for the passion, the architecture, or simply the atmosphere, Camp Nou is Barcelona's beating heart, timeless, electric, and unforgettable. Because entry is limited and tickets are required to be booked online, don't wait until you arrive. Secure your visit ahead of time. On screen, you'll see 2 QR codes, one for Get Your Guide and one for Viator, both trusted platforms for official tours. Scan the QR code now to guarantee your access to Camp Nou, and check the links in the video description to reserve your tickets today. Tibidabo, the mountain above the city. Rising high above Barcelona, Tibidabo feels like a world apart. A mountain where the city fades away below and the Mediterranean stretches endlessly beyond. At 1,680 feet, it's the highest point in Barcelona, offering sweeping views that seem to capture every heartbeat of the city. Up here, you'll find a unique blend of spirituality, nostalgia, and pure joy. A place where a church, an amusement park, and the sky coexist in perfect harmony. At the summit stands the Sacré-Cœur Church, or the Temple of the Sacred Heart, a twin to Paris's Sacré-Cœur, crowned by an 8-meter bronze statue of Christ, arms wide open over the city. Just below it spins one of Europe's oldest amusement parks, opened in 1901, where wooden rides and vintage attractions still clatter and whirl as they did more than a century ago. You can even board El Avió, a 1928 plane that really flies in circles, suspended on an arm above the mountain's edge. Then there's the Collserola Tower, a futuristic spike built for the 1992 Olympics. From its observation deck, Barcelona unfurls beneath you, from the Gothic quarter to the sea, all the way to the distant peaks of Montserrat. The name Tibidabo comes from Latin, Tibidabo, meaning I will give to you, taken from the biblical story where the devil tempts Jesus by showing him all the kingdoms of the world from a high mountain. Standing here at sunset, watching the golden light wash over the skyline, you can almost feel that mythical echo. Plan about 2 to 3 hours if you're coming for the view and the church, or 4 to 5 hours if you want to enjoy the rides. Best time to visit. Late afternoon to sunset is magical. Soft light, long shadows, and the city bathed in gold. On clear evenings, you'll see the sea glowing like glass and the city lights flickering like constellations. Spring and fall weekends offer the perfect mix of good weather and manageable crowds. Why Tibidabo is special? It's where Barcelona meets the heavens. A sacred mountain with a merry-go-round, a chapel with a plane, and a view that feels eternal. It's a place to breathe, to look back at the city's beauty, and to remember why Barcelona is unlike anywhere else. Picasso Museum, the making of a genius. Tucked away in the winding streets of Elborn, the Picasso Museum feels like stepping into another century. Hidden behind stone walls and Gothic arches, it occupies 5 interconnected medieval palaces, dating back to the 13th and 15th centuries. Inside, the city noise disappears. You move through quiet courtyards, echoing staircases, and softly lit rooms. A world of calm that feels more like a monastery than a museum. This isn't the Picasso of global fame, not the cubist icon or the mythic genius, but the young man finding his voice. The museum holds over 4,000 works tracing his evolution from child prodigy to daring artist, from precise academic sketches to the bold colors and abstract forms that would later define his style. Founded in 1963 through the vision of 𝐏𝐵, Picasso's lifelong friend and secretary, the museum was built with Picasso's direct involvement. Though living in exile, he personally helped shape the collection, determined that it should be in Barcelona, the city where his artistic journey began. At first, it was known as the 𝐒𝐵 collection, since Franco's dictatorship made Picasso's name politically sensitive in Spain. Only later did it become what it is today, a sanctuary for his most personal work. The 5 palaces on Carrer de Montcada now form a labyrinth of stone galleries and vaulted halls. Here, you'll find the world's most complete collection of Picasso's early works, 1890 to 1904, raw, intimate, and full of experimentation. His famous Las Meninas series, 1957, a reinterpretation of Velázquez's masterpiece, fills an entire room with color and insight. In another, his first academic drawings, made when he was just 14, show a precision that already hinted at greatness. Every corner breathes history and beauty. In the courtyards, live guitarists often play soft flamenco or classical melodies, filling the air with something timeless. The Picasso Museum is open from Tuesday to Sunday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and closed on Mondays. Plan to spend about 1.5 to 2 hours exploring the galleries. The easiest way to get there is by taking the L4 Yellow Line Metro to 𝐿 station, followed by a short 5-minute walk through the Elborn district. Insider tips: book tickets online ahead of time. The museum is one of Barcelona's busiest and often sells out by midday. Photography is only allowed in the courtyards, so take your time to enjoy the art itself. Don't miss the Blue Period Gallery. Melancholic and deeply moving, it captures the exact moment when Picasso began to paint not what he saw, but what he felt. Because entry is limited and tickets often sell out days in advance, make sure to book your tickets online before your visit. On screen, you'll see 2 QR codes, one for Get Your Guide and one for Viter, both trusted platforms offering official entry. Scan the QR code now to guarantee your access to the Picasso Museum, and you'll also find the ticket links in the video description below. Still curious about Barcelona? Don't stop here. In our next videos, we'll take you deeper into the city, hidden gems, local favorites, and everything you need to make your trip unforgettable. Start watching now.